The Datascape is now available on Spotify. Go check us out. So, what do you want to talk about, Noir?
I think it's pretty obvious. We need to talk about the Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots.
Bro. See, even though you said screenshots, we finally got something for Kingdom Hearts 4 after 3 freaking years, dude. No, it's been 3 years. You know how many podcast episodes we have done? We started this podcast during the Kingdom Hearts 4 drought. During the Kingdom Hearts drought period. It has been 3 long years. This is the most we have gotten. And honestly, even though we said screenshots, I don't want to undermine these screenshots. I personally, and I'll go into this a little more later, I personally think these screenshots gave us a little more information than even the reveal trailer did. How you feeling?
I'm feeling honestly great because I know for a fact that I have not been neglected completely by Square. They haven't forgotten about us.
Bro, for real. And look, we are happy about Kingdom Hearts 4. We are ecstatic about Kingdom Hearts 4. We also did a live stream like the second Kingdom Hearts 4 came out. Not a podcast episode. We did a live stream with some friends reacting to everything, talking about some of the stuff. But the thing I was looking the most forward to, between all the videos, between the live streams, the thing I was looking the most forward to doing when this news came out was doing a Datascape episode. I think that goes to show just how much I've fallen in love with doing this podcast. And guys, thank you for supporting this podcast. Thank you for commenting on this podcast. Thank you for supporting us on Spotify. Thank you, Noir, for being here, because we made it. I know I might be over celebrating. It's the screenshots, man. It's the screenshots. But look. Us Kingdom Hearts fans, the whole reason we talk about droughts and we talk about Kingdom Hearts, the whole reason we talk about communication, it doesn't take much to satisfy us. I'm sure we've mentioned in some podcast episode out of our like couple dozen or something. It does not take much to satisfy us. It does not take much to get Kingdom Hearts trending on Twitter like it was yesterday. You know, those screenshots, Noir, got a near combined, I don't know what it's at exactly now, but I said it earlier in a video. Those two screenshots are at nearly 10 million views on Twitter.
10 million?
Yes, 10 million between both accounts. I think
It's
that's
been
crazy.
a day.
Bro, Kingdom Hearts is out here. It is out here. It was trending yesterday too. Multiple words like we were out here. I saw voice actors like over here commenting about saying, "Yo, please let me voice act in Kingdom Hearts 4. Please, I'll voice a trash can." I saw the voice actor for I believe Phineas from Phineas and Ferb was saying like, "Yo, they need to put Phineas in Kingdom Hearts 4." Or need to put Phineas and Ferb in Kingdom Hearts 4. Like this hit. Like, you don't realize it all the time because we're the obsessive ones. We're the freaks. We're the ones that make podcast episodes during the drought periods. When there's 3 years of absolutely nothing, bone dry desert, like you could freaking drip water on the sand and it'll start boiling, like it'll just, turn into vapor. We're still here. We're the freaks. We're the ones that are always going to be here no matter what. But there's so many people who look forward to Kingdom Hearts, man. So many casual gamers, so many even mobile game gamers, which we'll get into in a moment. There's a lot of different areas that Kingdom Hearts touches, and you see them all come out the woodworks whenever there's new Kingdom Hearts information. Like sometimes it seems like we're this small, tight-knit community, and a lot of the time we are. But when something happens, when we finally do get news, when we finally do get information, positive information at that, they all come out. Everyone comes around. I love to see that.
Literally the entire fandom awoke.
Bro, people I hadn't seen talk about Kingdom Hearts in years, since KH4 was initially announced, started talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 again, from some screenshots. And You're probably wondering if you are if you're for somehow like watching this podcast and haven't looked at the screenshot. Shoot, open up your phone, man. Go to the Kingdom Hearts official Twitter accounts, or go to any search up Kingdom Hearts 4 like on the search bar, and you'll find it. Like literally, it's that easy. Search up Kingdom Hearts 4, you'll find all the screenshots. They're there. Like you'll so you can know what we're talking about. So I know we're talking about screenshots, we're talking about images, but we got 8 images collectively. There was we got 2 gameplay images, and we got a image with Strelitzia, updated render of Strelitzia in Unreal Engine 5. All of this was in Unreal Engine 5, actually. So 2 gameplay screenshots. We got Strelitzia. We got playable Mickey. Playable freaking Mickey, bro. What the heck? What is going on? We got some cool images of KH4 Sora. We got to see Gigaside again. Um, what was the thing that you saw, Noir, that like piqued your interest the most? Like, what's your takeaway from like the screenshots? Like, well, like
It's definitely the Mickey cut or the Mickey screenshot, just because
we're on the same wavelength.
it's one, it's so blatantly just like bury the lead kind of thing.
Right.
Like obviously gameplay screenshots, characters and areas we have already seen. Like we obviously getting updated screenshots of that is like a big deal, but you kind of just bury in there like, oh yeah, by the way, Mickey is also going to be playable at one point during Kingdom Hearts 4. Like to put it into perspective, we didn't even know if we were going to be playing as other characters in Kingdom Hearts 3 until the final battle trailer, which was like one of the last trailers to ever come out for Kingdom Hearts 3, which was like less than a month before
Yeah.
the game came out, if I remember correctly. Right, a month or so, like give or take.
Not a
So
month. It came out a decent bit before the game came out, but like I would say like 2 or 3. I think the final battle trailer was like October of that year, if I'm not mistaken.
no, it was in
I might be
December.
mistaken, but I believe it was definitely like last quarter for sure. So yeah,
Yeah, it was
it was
okay,
December.
December 17th.
Really?
December 17th.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm sure
literally
I'm completely
like
wrong
a
then.
month and a little bit of change. And that was the first time we ever received any sort of information that another character was going to be playable, and it was Riku, and now it's Mickey.
But to add on to
And
Noir's point as well, because we like that was the first time we saw another playable character, or that was the first time we got like I think straight up confirmation. Like I think there was some interviews before that alluded to it, and I remember even before we started the marketing cycle for Kingdom Hearts 3, they did say on the KH3 website that Mickey and Riku were going to be exploring the realm of darkness. So it was alluded to that Riku will be playable, but even outside of that, I think this screenshot even gives us more information than even a reveal of Riku being playable. Because with Riku, you could speculate that maybe we're getting a whole Realm of Darkness segment with Riku and Mickey. No. This screenshot gives us even more information than I think that did. With that, we assumed, and with this, we could be assuming as well. We could be, but I think there's a couple things here that definitely imply that this might be something a little longer. Um, Here, Noir, do you like this? Doesn't look like a boss fight. Doesn't look like just a regular mob fight either. This looks like a full-on segment of Mickey in Scala at Kylan's library, like they talk about the end of Melody of Memory. That this might be a portion of the game, like low key, like something we go back and forth to in between worlds.
it is, it's really tough to say just because like it's just a screenshot, so it's hard to get the full context of what's
That's
going
true.
on. But um obviously that's Mickey and Scala at Kylam, and there's something I want to point out, and it's clear that it is actually a platforming segment
Yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying.
Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts,
like actual
and
exploration.
like actual exploration, actual platforming. Right, Kingdom Hearts 3 was kind of getting back into some platforming with its level design, but obviously there hasn't been major platforming like there was in Kingdom Hearts 1 since. So just to see platforming, and not only that, you're doing platform with another character. That's freaking wild to me.
Mickey of all characters too. I mean, you know what's insane?
Mickey of all
You know what's insane
characters.
about this that I find kind of funny because you could kind of tie this. You could have a weird headcanon and tie this all the way back to in those OG Kingdom Hearts 1 interviews when you know about the making of Kingdom Hearts 1 and what like inspired it. Disney, Square Enix, they wanted to, or Nomura, the people who were in that like room, that bubble for Kingdom Hearts, wanted to create a character that could stand alongside Mario. Mario 64 was a super popular game around then that had like recently come out, and they wanted to get a character that was iconic like that. Mario obviously already had a lot of recognition and had been around for a while. Disney, that's where Disney comes in. And now we're getting this like crazy Disney platforming segment in a Kingdom Hearts game with Mickey Mouse as the lead. Now that might be too much of a headcanon there, but like still, we're getting a Mickey Mouse platforming segment in Kingdom Hearts in a weird way that's kind of full circle to what the series like they didn't want it to be a platform, but this iconic plot like I don't know. You see where I'm going with that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's it's interesting. And I wanted the reason, like I said earlier, because some of you might think I'm like crazy saying, "Bro, it's just a screenshot. Don't lower your expectations, man." Okay, I got you. But look, here's the information. Here's the Carfax. In Kingdom Hearts 3, every playable character that was in the game was. While I appreciate that they were playable, I'm happy they were playable. I love KH4 for that. They were mostly boss fights. Riku, you fight Demon Tide twice. You don't even really get to fight Aqua. And then in Remine, you have to wait till Remine to then play as him again in like a Zigbar fight. They are exclusive to boss fights and maybe a little mob fight, but mostly they're all boss fights, all like dedicated like 3 minute bosses. Um, Here with Mickey, I doubt they're gonna do a 3 minute platformer segment and then be like, "Oh, okay, I found the book," and go away. I mean, well, I would appreciate that. I'll take anything there. You can see there's like this little green light. There's this little red light at top, which to me is telling me this might be just an entire segment where Mickey's exploring the library, maybe sneaking through the library, trying to find information on Scarlet Kylam. Maybe this is some sort of like trap or puzzle. Like they're hiding some secret there, and there's some sort of mechanism hiding everything. Like to me, this shows intent to not just do the bare minimum with playable characters and playable segments, just a little boss with a fixed move set. Here, you see they're doing something creative. They're doing something that a lot of fans are nostalgic for, something that might last like 10, 15, 20 minutes even, and might be fun and memorable. I like that. And while I love my boss fights, I love my boss fights. You guys know how much I love the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts. This is cool. This is a cool way to use Mickey.
Now, a question uh I would like to point out, or I would like to ask, is when do you think this happens in Kingdom Hearts 4? Does it happen in the beginning? Is it considered the tutorial? Is it maybe after completing a certain amount of Scala stuff, or not Scala stuff, but Quadratum stuff as Sora, and then it switches over to Mickey, kind of like giving a two stories happening at the same time kind of perspective. What is happening here?
Um, I predict that almost all these screenshots are taking place early game. And the main reason I say that is because I feel like that's probably the most polished area of Kingdom Hearts 3. Because that's what they were doing early on with Kingdom Hearts 3's marketing before they started spoiling us with a lot of story stuff. Uh, Early on in Kingdom Hearts 3's marketing, even later actually, like towards early 2018, 17 and stuff, we weren't seeing a lot of mid-game, end-game stuff aside from maybe some world reveals. A lot of the gameplay we saw was more early, like that first batch of worlds, like Olympus, King, like Tangled, Toy Box, like those were the first batches of worlds that we were seeing gameplay of. I think that's what's going on here, and it's mostly because it's probably the most polished part of the game. You can see at the top here. This is probably the more confusing segment. Like Sora's HP bar and MP bar are a little high in my opinion for like early game, but it could just be some like testing out stuff like dev things, right? But he has the Kingdom Keys still. They're probably not going to show off any new Keyblades, but I'm assuming these are like early game kind of quadratum enemies. They're showing off the Keyblade, showing off the king, what's likely the Kingdom Keys abilities, and then you got these bottom screenshots showing off like another segment with that enemy we see at the beginning of the game or at the beginning of the reveal trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. And I predict that all three of these bottom screenshots are probably all just from that one like segment moment in the game. Strelitzia, I assume she's one of the first characters we see as well, based on the dialogue in Kingdom Hearts 4's trailer. It seems like Strelitzia is going to be one of the first characters we see as we open up the game. I think this is early game. How about you though? What do you think?
Um, I definitely have to agree with you because if you look at all of the promotional materials for Kingdom Hearts 3 prior to 2018, a lot of it was just very similar stuff, right? A lot of the screenshots were either of, say, Sora at Toy Box, which is one of the first Disney Worlds, or like a couple screenshots of Riku and Mickey with the Broken Way to Dawn, which is near the beginning of the game, and other things like that, right? So I do think that this is like, oh, we're just showing off like the early game portions, right? We're only giving you the most polished versions of the game, right? These are areas we're not working on right now when it comes to the game, so we're confident in just showing you these screenshots and these clips of this part of the game because nothing else is going to be done here. Or even if there is, it's like very small quality of life things. And there's actually something I kind of want to point out with the, I want to call it a dark side.
I'm gonna call him Giga
Just
Side because I didn't know if he was like a Heartless or not at that point.
so a couple things to point
He's
out, and
huge.
this also relates to the gameplay footage. But firstly, with the dark side thing, if you guys notice, John will probably show like a closer view of it right now. There are two lights that are going towards that dark side, and they look to be not just random Kingdom Hearts flashy type of lights. These are like directional lights that are probably guided by someone. And recently, I saw on Twitter someone pointed out the similarities in the colors between those two lights and the light colors that you see when Sora and Kairi summon their Keyblades. Kairi's is more of a yellow, and Sora's is more of a blue light.
Right. So, do we think that these two lights, are we thinking that it's like some sort of military, or that are these actual characters that are like two separate characters doing this in this scene, like someone similar to Sora, perhaps?
I think it's somewhat similar to Sora, just based on the fact that we know for a fact that the world of Quadratum, light and darkness are not concepts, right? They're not things in unreality like it is in Sora's reality. You know, the idea of light versus darkness, that's not a thing in unreality. So
Or so
to
they say.
see, I mean, everyone has said that's how it worked.
We see
And
Heartless. We see this Giga Side thing. The very first thing we see
we
in
do see
KH4 is
Heartless.
darkness.
But I have mentioned before that there is a good chance that the original Darknesses are currently in Unreality, which would allow
Mm.
Darkness to sort of creep its way into Unreality and take form there. And speaking of the Heartless, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Someone else pointed out to me a bit of dialogue that the Master said when he was speaking to Lushu about the very first conflict with darkness. He mentioned that the darkness beings that he fought back then looked very, they not very, but they looked a little bit more human than what someone would expect. And if
Yeah,
you
you're
look
right.
at these, and if you look at these like heartless things, they look way more human than any Neo Shadow we've ever seen.
I'm so glad you bring that up because I like I've been thinking about this ever since that live stream we did, and ever since seeing like looking at these screenshots. I've been seeing some of those posts as well, and they do. I think that's a really cool correlation because I think me and you are in agreement that the Lost Master saga, it's the saga for now, but like I don't know if they're going to call the whole thing the Lost Master saga. But do you agree that the foretellers, the master, potentially are sort of like, how to describe it, transitional villains for what is going to end up being like the darknesses, which is who they set up as in Union Cross? Like, are we in agreement on that a little bit? Like, they're going to eventually
I
come into fray, come to the,
I think it's gonna stay the Lost Master saga just because
well,
it
for
does
now,
center
yes.
it does center around issues involving the Lost Masters, even if they aren't the main villains by the end of the saga and the end of the series.
Mm.
It is still involving them, and they are considered Lost Masters.
Oh yes, but just talking about like the main villains aspect of it, I do think the darknesses are eventually going to like come up as like the big bads of like Kingdom Hearts, even above maybe the Master and the Lost Masters, who I'm sure are going to be seen as the antagonist for now, but eventually the darknesses are going to return, like fully return, all of them, the core darknesses, and
But who's to
we'll play
say
that out.
that the Darknesses won't end up dying because they possess the Lost Masters, and Sora and the others take advantage of the opportunity to kill them?
They could, but do you think it's going to go that perfectly? Let's be real.
Highly doubt it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but talking more about these humanoid heartless, or well, I'm saying heartless. The reason I say they're heartless is because when you zoom in to the Japanese screenshot, actually specifically, it's a lot more clear. You can actually see like what are kind of like shapes of a heart, like on this heartless is what seems to be maybe a tail, and if you kind of zoom into the heartless, they're kind of holding their guard up, kind of like defense heartless. I thought that was an Infinity Gauntlet, by the way, when I first saw it, like something mimicking an Infinity Gauntlet. Hey, Marvel still has a chance. I do think Marvel still has a chance here, but you can zoom in on like the brightest one and kind of see a little heart shape as well. So these could be a heartless, or maybe what these enemies are meant to represent, like what the master was talking about. Maybe this is the origin, like what those original darknesses were, which heartless I think are pretty tied to like the original darknesses. When we go to the realm of darkness and we see like what is seen as like kind of the purest forms of darkness, they don't all have like emblems, like heartless emblems or anything, but they mimic like traditional heartless we've seen throughout the series, just less colorful and more dark. So these enemies being a lot more humanoid, like it's really creepy, but also like fits the mature setting, I think, like very very well. I love these designs. I love them.
I like them too, and I definitely want to move forward with the Heartless being more threatening, or the main enemy feeling like more of a threat than what they are now. Because at this point, because everyone agrees in the first game, the Heartless were the biggest threat they ever were. Right? You look at Heartless showing up, you saw a gang of Heartless, you're like, oh wow, this is like about to go down. But now it's like, okay, I know the same song and dance, Blizzaga, and like that's it, right? So like the enemies that take the main precedence for just being an overall threat is still, in my opinion, the nobodies. So Heartless have been taking a backseat as far as their threat level, especially since, and I remember someone pointed this out, and I basically have agreed with this, and I've noticed this a lot of the time nowadays. Heartless in Kingdom Hearts, they're kind of they're more silly and gimmicky, right? So there there's a clear idea of what's going on here, and it's so base that it's childish. Because in Kingdom Hearts 2, that's when the nobodies first showed up and they were the main threats. So when Heartless had to take a back seat, instead of going from the ominous, but you can still get some sort of faint idea of what's going on, like soldiers air soldiers, large bodies, stealth sneaks, things like that, right? They had a clear idea of what they were hinting towards as like being based off something, but they were still enough of its own thing to be like, no, this is just a threatening presence. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, you had Car Heartless, Trumpet Heartless.
I think it's just the idea that I feel like it's just a result of the series over time. Sora's the key lures have been getting stronger, and the Heartless maybe just aren't keeping up as much. I mean, in Kingdom Hearts 1, when, like you said earlier, when we saw like a gang of Heartless, like I remember very vividly, like being kind of afraid of like guard armor as a kid. Given I was like 4 years old, I actually had a nightmare about guard armor as a kid. I actually had a. It's weird. I still remember that nightmare specifically, but the reason I remember it so specifically is because I was terrified of guard armor. Like I had a very like weird dream of guard armor, like in my house, like freaking damaging stuff, and I had this weird childish dream of guard armor.
Oh my god.
I don't know, like I was kind of traumatized, bro. Like I beat the boss though, but like still, well, with my
You beat
parents'
the
help.
boss in your
But
dreams.
no, like in the game, I beat the boss, but like with my parents' help, you know. That look, these are young Kingdom Hearts stories, but still, what I'm trying to add, I'm adding to your point, Noir. Where Heartless were intimidating back then, more intimidating than they are now, and I don't. It's hard to say if they're not intimidating now, just because I'm older, or if it's because I fought them like 10,000 times. Now, can they still make Heartless intimidating? I think they can. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 made Heartless intimidating in swarms towards like the end. Like I think the most intimidating like Heartless I've seen in recent memory, and not it's not a singular Heartless, but that like tornado of shadows. Like I look at that like for the first time I saw that, and I'm like, how the heck do they fight this? And it was at that moment, it was the scene where the Guardians were losing, and it was just Sora, just Riku in that moment. And it's like, bro, whoa, how the heck did they fight that? That's kind of crazy. But aside from like strength in numbers, I think individual Heartless have definitely looked a little less spooky and less dark. But I think that's also just because Emblem Heartless have kind of always been that way. Not fully. Like it's a give and take, but I do think Emblem Heartless have kind of always been the more colorful variations of Heartless. I mean, even in Kingdom Hearts 2, I feel like you have like these insanely like colorful and kind of goofy looking Heartless. Like I forget the name of that specific Heartless. We know the one like in the that you see in the 1,000 Heartless battle that like lets you do the Rising Star build. Like those Heartless are not intimidating. They look so goofy to me, but like they, they're a big part of Kingdom Hearts 2 and part of KH2's aesthetic. So these Heartless though definitely fit that vibe of like, okay, these guys look kind of creepy. Like when you actually stare at them, they're kind of creepy. They still kind of have that goofy, like brainless, like heartless sort of vibe to them, but they they definitely look. They look kind of creepy, just a little bit, and I like that. They have a more mature vibe and feeling to them. So something I want to transition to next and talk about is the graphics. Bro, Kingdom Hearts 4 is looking good. Like, how do you feel about this
Insane
Unreal Engine 5
graphics.
upgrade?
Insane graphics, honestly. And like I suspected KH4 was gonna look beautiful, just because KH3 already looks beautiful as is, and KH4 is gonna be on an even better engine than KH3. So I am really happy to see like the visuals just looking so great. And I imagine that obviously they love to leave a lot of the cool spectacle, like best graphics moments for like the end game. So I wonder how end game is gonna look in KH4.
Dude, oh, you're right. But I think this game, it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. Like it's weird because when I saw KH3, I remember thinking to myself, this is the first time Kingdom Hearts has really had that next gen look. At the time, we were still using terms like next gen, because when you gotta think about it, from going from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and like the journey up to Kingdom Hearts 3, most of the Kingdom Hearts games were on, I guess, lesser hardware. A lot of the Kingdom Hearts games, the non-number titles, were on the 3DS or the DS or the PSP. Consoles that were a decent bit not as powerful as the PS3, or at least definitely had like storage limits on them that made it harder to like make those games more graphically crazy. Distance still looked beautiful, like colors wise, and the aesthetics of these games still looked good and had that Kingdom Hearts style. But Kingdom Hearts 3 was the first game where like you looked at the CGI, you looked at like these in-game models and like the environments, and you're like floored, and you're like, wow. And that's a big part of what I loved about the Disney Worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. Not only like were a lot of them like fun to play in, but they looked beautiful. Like they looked gorgeous, and they looked like in some instances just as good as the original properties. And Kingdom Hearts was nowhere near that point in Kingdom Hearts 2 or Kingdom Hearts 1. Like the Disney movies, I mean, a lot of these were animated movies, but like they weren't they weren't up to par with some of the 3D Disney movies yet. Like we remember how jarring Port Royal was in Kingdom Hearts 2. It didn't. I still don't think it looked bad. I'm used to it, but like it was definitely more jarring compared to 3. You compare KH2 Pirates of the Caribbean to KH3's Pirates of the Caribbean, and it is night and day 10 times over. And now with Kingdom Hearts 4, we're about to experience that again, because I guess you could say Kingdom Hearts 4 is, by the time it comes out, it will have missed the entire PS5 like era, bro. Like,
It really will have.
we're about to be in the same situation we were in with KH3, where KH3 came out like what, a year before the PS5 would release, like a year and a half before the PS5 would come out. It's probably going to be the same case with KH4, where like KH4 is going to release like at the tail end of this console generation, which I think is going to be within the next year and a half to 2 years. But this game is looking gorgeous, and they're going for a more realistic, like realism approach with KH4. Sora's hair is a lot more flat and realistic. Even the chain, actually, I pointed this out, and Dax pointed this out to me as well in our live stream we did the other day. You notice how the like actual like chain part of like Sora's necklace is a lot thinner,
Yeah, I noticed that too.
and it actually is pretty identical to how they actually make like the official merchandise for the chain. Like I'm sure a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans have that Sora necklace just for themselves. Like it's one of I feel like it's one of the easiest like starter pack like merch pieces for Kingdom Hearts. Again, the Roxas necklace, the Sora necklace. The official merchandise actually
I remember
has like
mine.
the chain that thin, so it's interesting.
Honestly, like Sora's necklace has always been more of like a thick kind of necklace, but now it's like kind of thin.
It's normal, honestly. It's normal now. Yeah.
It's normal, right? It's so like they're really going for this whole like when he's in Quadranum, he's normal. Right? He's not some Square Enix Disney character. He's just a guy.
He's just some guy with the Keyblade, walking around. He's over here in these screenshots, grinding on chains, like fighting Heartless or enemies in the streets. He's very normal, very very normal. This kid walking around.
Also, a lot of us have pointed out, and I do gotta say this is a great quality of life adjustment. Showing how many items you have left in your pocket on your command HUD, that's such a good quality of life change.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. I love that. The command menu actually looks very similar to KH3's aside from that, though, and it's implied, looking at the arrows, that there is Keyblade switching back in Kingdom Hearts 4, which
That's what I was thinking
is
too.
awesome. I think Keyblade switching is just, it needs to be like a basic feature, just period, in Kingdom Hearts. I don't think anyone's complaining about that, even if you're one of the people who's not as crazy about Kingdom Hearts 3's combat compared to other games. I think Keyblade switching is a must-have, because for years and years, many Kingdom Hearts games have a very similar issue of you're only really using like 2 or 3 Keyblades the whole game if you're going by stats. Because like in Kingdom Hearts 2, there's Kingdom Key, then there's Hero's Crest, and then you're kind of just chilling until you get Decisive Pumpkin or Rumbling Rose. I think is the next one after Hero's Crest is really strong. Like there's only you get like a dozen Keyblades in every Kingdom Hearts game, but only like 3 or 4 of them are actually really really strong.
That was kind of the problem though with like a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games was that other Keyblades were made obsolete or were always obsolete just
Yeah.
because when you get them, their stats weren't as good as say the Keyblade you currently have. So it didn't really make much sense to switch your Keyblade to a weaker one, right? But with the Keyblade upgrading, obviously there is a bit of a difference, right? A fully upgraded Kingdom Key isn't as strong as a fully upgraded Ultimate Weapon, which makes sense, right? But still, there's like enough of a boost in the strength when you boost Kingdom Key enough to where it would make sense for you to still use it when you are going through, say, some of the later portions
Well, and
of
then
the
there's
game.
the abilities as well, because in Kingdom Hearts 3, one of the most broken Keyblades, Ultimate Weapon is the best Keyblade in that game, bar none, because Ultimate Shock Lock plus how much damage Ultimate Form does is insane. But it's like it's a Keyblade you're not getting till the end game anyway, so you still have plenty of time to use other Keyblades and do other strats, because Ars Arcanum for Kingdom Key does a crap ton of damage. Sonic Blade does a lot of damage for the finisher commands. You have Counter Shield or Heroes Origins Keyblade with Counter Shield, and Wrathful Flurry does a insane amount of damage as well, especially with the critical counter. Ever After Shotlock is busted, and not to mention the clones. Like there's something really strong about each Keyblade that makes them like really powerful for different situations. And even in Kingdom Hearts 3 speed running, you see like a decent bit of variety with Keyblades, at least early game. Definitely Ever After, Heroes Origin take the cake. Like those are the most broken Keyblades in the base game, but still like you're using more Keyblades throughout KH3 like on average than you probably are in other Kingdom Hearts games, and that's something that Kingdom Hearts 4 I really hope like does good as well. Like this stats with Keyblades, maybe balancing them a little bit more though. Like it would be kind of cool if Kingdom Key was able to not be as strong as the Ultimate Weapon, but what if I was able to upgrade enough to be like right there? You know what I mean?
Like the strength difference is negligible.
Yeah, like very negligible. I think that'd be cool.
Honestly, honestly, I think with the whole Keyblade system in Kingdom Hearts 3, though, it was just done, in my opinion, so perfectly that it's kind of hard to not use it again because
Yeah.
think about it. I could create a system where I can either have someone just switch to only using one Keyblade and they have to make a choice on what one Keyblade they're going to use, or they can pick up to 3 Keyblades to have at the same time, and their approach to combat will be based on the Keyblade that they currently have, right? Especially with the form changes being tied to the Keyblades and not a separate system like the Dry Forms were. Not disparaging Dry Forms at all. I freaking love Dry Forms. It's probably my favorite system in KH2. But again, like I want to play a game where the freedom to pick the Kingdom Key doesn't seem like the wrong choice because in Kingdom Hearts 3, my stats when I first beat the game ever, my most used Keyblade was Kingdom Key. I kept Kingdom Key in and I kept switching the other two with the top Keyblades I had at the time.
Okay. I think I think Keyblade leveling, Keyblade switching, all the Keyblade mechanics just should return. Like I completely agree. KH3 best Keyblade, but best approach with Keyblades in the entire franchise. Maybe only second to a game like maybe Recoded. Well, not nah. I won't even say second. Oh, like I'd say like the only game that is close would be a game like Recoded, where Keyblades like you have Keyblade leveling and whatnot. Um, so talking. Well, I don't want to dive too deep into the gameplay because there's not like that much to talk about gameplay wise. Like we've talked about Heartless, we talked about the commands. We see that we have flow motion back. Well, actually, one little topic. What do you think this attack is that Sora's doing? Like
I
he's kind of, I guess he has like the chains like that. That seems like the to me. I think that might just be part of the new Kingdom Key form change for this game.
It could be just because based on the first KH4 trailer, we see Sora launching chains from his Kingdom Key, which might be a specific Keyblade exclusive thing. So who knows? I personally think it might be part of the scrap and build.
Really? Okay. I really wonder what build is going to be because it's definitely the new system mechanic for this game, like one of the new big ones, and I wonder if it's taking the place of summons or not. Well, maybe not. I don't know because it doesn't seem like we're going to be having multiple command menus like in KH2, so it's hard to
Oh
say.
wait, I just thought about something.
Hmm.
If Sora is in Quadratum, then he's gonna have to fight like the people in Quadratum.
Mm.
And there's someone else in Quadratum that we saw basically create and build to fight.
Oh yeah, Yzora. I've mentioned that multiple times. How I do think the build system could be inspired off of Yzora because they actually do refer to Yzora's abilities as creations in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's specifically in the death screen where they say they're giving you a little tip on how to fight Yzora, and they're like avoid Yzora's creations, which very specific,
Yeah,
but
be wary of the creations Yzora makes or
yep.
something like that.
So one other thing we should talk about in the screenshots with these screenshots. There's two things we haven't brought up much. We have not talked about Strelitzia, and we have not talked about this rotary phone. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Strelitzia. I just want to get that creepy girl out of here.
You agree that she's creepy,
She does look creepy.
bro? Everyone keeps saying to me, "No, she's adorable. She looks amazing," and I'm like, "Okay, you're talking about the graphics. Just like look at her eyes, bro. She looks like, I mean, she is dead, but like she looks dead to me. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like something about the way she's staring into the screen. Maybe it's the lighting, but it's something is very off. And I want to point out this is the afterworld or afterlife, like to Sora and Strelitzia. So, do you think there's a mechanic in this game potentially where if you're here long enough, you slowly start to kind of, I don't know, become a ghost, or maybe you're just, or are you just living here permanently, like
I
before you're
think
actually dead?
Strelitzia is just living there permanently now. I'm not sure if she still even has her Keyblade. It'd be cool if she did, though.
Maybe she just doesn't summon it.
Have suggested before that Strelitzia hasn't used her Keyblades since going to Quadratum, since Keyblades attract the Heartless and Darkness beings, and she needs to stay hidden from them.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you think that in King? Do you think that the reason, like, cause why? I've always wondered why Strelitzia is there, but that does get more into theory talk. But I guess I will still mention it now. Do you think it's possible that a big reason Sora and Strelitzia ended up in Quadratum specifically? Because technically, someone like Xander should be there. A bunch of other dead Keyblade should be there. And while we don't know if there are other like Keyblade who are like that there, do you think there's a specific reason that Sora and Strelitzia are there? Like for perhaps maybe it's because their hearts like they maybe I've recently been watching a show called Dragon Prince. I'm gonna be honest, and this is why I've been thinking about this. Um, in a lot of like not even just Dragon Prince, but in a lot of like shows that deal with like life and death, sometimes people who like still have something they're holding on to, like unfinished business, they are still tied to the other world, like another world. And do you think that might be something with Strelitzia and Sora? Sora, for him, it would obviously be Kairi. For Strelitzia, she never got to, talk to the player, befriend the player, talk to her brother again, etc.
I think it's a matter of you depart into death, but you still had some things left to cling on to, but for whatever reason, you couldn't be in the final world,
So,
right?
yep.
Now, as Strelitzia's reasoning, that we don't know. We know Sora's reasoning for not being in the final world, and that's because he committed a nature taboo, so he wasn't allowed to be in the final world.
Yeah, so maybe Quadratum could operate as some sort of in between life and death that people don't know about. I don't know. That gets into big Quadratum theory. So what about this rotary phone? Everyone on Twitter is obsessed with this phone, bro.
I really can't tell you why people are obsessed with this rotary phone. I definitely made a joke about it here and there, but I was not expecting a rotary phone to get this much attention.
I I understand why, but it's just funny. Um, I've seen a lot of theories that people think this might be the way we traverse through worlds. I saw an image someone posted on Twitter that showed how there's a lot of rotary phones in different Disney and Pixar movies. I mean, it's a phone. It's in billions of it's in billions of properties. I'm willing to bet, to be honest. But yeah, still, it's in a lot of Disney movies, and they think maybe Sora's gonna answer the phone and be transported to a Disney world. Like that might be the world traversal system. Other people think a way more sad, and honestly, I wouldn't mind this happening, but it would absolutely break my heart. I mentioned earlier how potentially Sora and Strelitzia could be tethered to this world because they have unfinished business or their hearts are still lingering, like, are longing for someone else. Or they're tied to the other world, like via strong will, strong heart, whatever. Um, some people think that Sora is this is gonna be how Sora contacts Kairi, or rather, how Sora kind of talks to her in his own way. He won't be actually talking to Kairi, but imagine like a Sora who doesn't have his memories, and he keeps picking up the phone, he keeps answering the phone, he keeps talking on the phone to someone, and he hears Kairi's voice every time he is on the phone, but it's not actually her, but that's his way of holding on. This is Heart's way of holding on. To me, that's really sad, but like that's a theory people have been going with because apparently there's a lot of media, there's a lot of like I guess symbolism behind that phone where it's like it's like memories.
I think honestly, the whole Sora's talking to Kyrie through the rotary phone, that's sad, dude.
Yes, very.
That's majorly sad.
I think it's pretty heartbreaking. Like that I'm interested in it. I'm very interested in that. Um I'm I don't know. Like I feel like that would just I think I'd cry. Like genuinely, that would be a cool way to tie Kyrie into the story more though. And that's something I want to talk about with Mickey earlier as we like kind of ramble on a little bit. Mickey being playable, I think straight up gives me a lot more hope for Kyrie and Aqua. Because Donald and Goofy, everyone who's in the Melody of Memory cutscene has been shown in Kingdom Hearts 4 so far, aside from Yen Sid and Kyrie. Donald and Goofy, obviously they were going to be in KH4. I mean, who are we kidding here? But they were shown to be, or they were talked about to be exploring Disney worlds for Sora, like searching for Sora, which we potentially are seeing them doing at the end of Kingdom Hearts 4. A lot of people theorize that that world is Olympus. Mickey was told that he was going to be exploring Scarlet Kylam, the final line that ended off Melody of Memory before we saw the whole Reconnect Kingdom Hearts or an Oath to Return. Um, and right before that, Kairi was said to be training with Aqua. I believe that last cutscene in Melody of Memory might be the three like those might be the three side stories of KH4. Donald and Goofy exploring Disney worlds, looking for Sora. We might just get a little kind of meme throughout the game of Donald and Goofy going through Disney worlds. Sora's not here. Going to another Disney world. Sora's not here. And Donald and Goofy are just interacting with old people that Sora's talked to in the past. Um, I think those could be the three side stories. And then you have Mickey and Scarlet Kylam. Obviously, a lot of lore is going to be happening there. Um, Rest in peace to Missing Link. And then Kyrie training with Aqua could be like some of the other gameplay we get. And I know that would make you very, very happy.
Playable Kyrie. I pray for that every day. Honestly, I think with a lot of these screenshots, and this is kind of getting into a bigger question. Do you guys think that these screenshots are a precursor to a trailer coming out?
Ooh. I did at first, but because of Square Enix's statement, um, them saying we will showcase things at the right time, essentially, I am leaning towards at some point this year, but I don't know when this year. Like, I think I'm not banking on Summer Games Fest because I almost think it's too soon. Because I feel like if they were going to show something at Summer Games Fest, they might have just waited. But maybe Missing Link's cancellation was like a big reason they gave us this now, and they were waiting for Summer Games Fest perhaps. So it's possible, but I think TGS and the Game Awards are the events to look at. Though I will be streaming and I will be watching all of them.
So I will definitely take time out of my day to live stream Summer Game Fest. What day is Summer Game Fest?
I don't remember. I
You know,
actually don't.
you know, let me just get it right now. June 6th.
June 6th. Yeah, I
So
wanted to say June 6th, but I was not confident.
that is a Friday, 3 weeks from now.
Hey, if Kingdom Hearts does appear at Summer Games Fest, we could be seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 again in 3 weeks. Or not. might be copium. Honestly, these screenshots have they've appetized me for the next couple of months. I might be good for the summer. I definitely want to see more this summer. I would love to, but I am content.
If they release a trailer at Summer Games Fest that shows decent gameplay and it gives me a release window, you will never hear me again complaining about Kingdom Hearts 4 not showing up in places. You will never get that side of me ever again.
Bro, I would be so freaking hype. Like I would scream, dude. I'm just happy Kingdom Hearts is back, but I think it's a good place to end it off. We did gloss over. We made a couple mentions about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link's cancellation. We will be doing a separate podcast episode about Missing Link because that was the precursor to this even happening in the first place. But the silver lining of May 14th for Kingdom Hearts fans is we finally got Kingdom Hearts 4 news, and I'm more happy about that than anything. But do you have any closing thoughts, any closing feelings, Noir, regarding Kingdom Hearts 4?
Uh, Surprisingly, no.
Just waiting to see what's next.
Pretty much.
Well, just like the rest of us. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. My name is Prodigy.
My name's Arlo Bomber.
And remember to be nice, be safe, and take care, everyone.